To speak against
Okay.
House Bill 425
Please proceed in
as
opposition.
amended. Pardon me. Mr. Speaker, the bill is related to public utilities. What the bill states on page 1 is that, and I quote, "It is anticipated that in 2030, 60% of electricity generation will come from fossil fuels." Mr. Speaker, I'm not ready to take that defeatist attitude, and I don't think we should as a body. We're saying we're going to virtually give up on being able to accomplish what we want to accomplish, getting off a larger percentage of fossil fuel by the year 2030. But the bill says in the next 18 years, we're not going to accomplish what we want to. And I think that is a very defeatist attitude. I just can't accept that. It seemed to me as a legislature, we should be saying to the Public Utilities Commission, do everything that you can to even exceed what we're trying to accomplish with the Clean Energy Initiative. Do everything that you can to move us off of fossil fuel. There are young people in this legislature that within 18 years will be, if they're still here, will be more mature. And they'll look back to today and say, couldn't we have done better with what we're saying as public policy? Shouldn't we instead say, Public Utilities Commission, you need to do more? The bill in its new language says that the Public Utilities Commission shall consider the costs and benefits of a diverse fossil fuel portfolio, still mired in oil. That's the new language in the bill. I know that there's a savings clause that says, well, we're not excluding the utilities from meeting the renewable portfolio standards, but here's the plain language. Public Utilities Commission shall consider the costs and benefits of a diverse fossil fuel portfolio. And then what's even more puzzling, the committee report that we're adopting through this motion states that, and I quote, "Careful consideration and planning must therefore be given to the future supply and pricing of fossil fuels in order to mitigate the negative impacts of high fossil fuel costs on the state's residents and businesses." Well, that's pretty arrogant. How the blazes can we, Hawaii, an island state, have any impact, mitigate high fossil fuel costs? What are we going to do? Say to the nations that really prefer to do us great harm, give us your oil at a cheaper cost? We import basically from other countries, not from our mainland United States. Now, how the blazes are we going to mitigate those costs? The only way we're going to mitigate them is if we get off of fossil fuel. We can't be arrogant enough to say, hey, we can have an impact on mitigating those costs of fossil fuel in the future. I mean, that just can't happen. But we can have a huge impact if we really move forward more aggressively with our renewable energy. I know I've talked to you all about wave energy again and again and again. Let me just remind you that the United States Department of Energy's wave report has come out this year, and they're indicating that we will have, on Oahu, 3 times the amount of wave energy power than we need for the entire island. Why aren't we instead saying, okay, let's move ahead with this new industry. Let's give the focus with that. We're surrounded by an ocean that has great energy and great power that can light up our buildings, can light up our state. at a much lower cost, single digit per kilowatt hour versus the 30 some odd cents we're now paying. Why aren't we moving ahead with that as our public policy and saying this is the way we need to go?
Representative Pine.
I yield my time.
So ordered.
Thank you, Representative. I don't like to stand here at my age and say I'm going to be a defeatist and say in the next 18 years we can't really reduce our use of fossil fuel. And for the young people in this body, you youngsters, I would expect you would want to stand up and say, I know we can do better. Because it's the young people that are really reaching out to do that. And instead what we're doing is saying, go ahead, assume we'll be stuck, mired in the fossil fuel, and we'll be able to have some impact on changing the international cost of providing that polluting material to light up our islands. Well, the Marines within about a year and a half are going to have a wave hub in the water on the windward side of the island. There were a number of international and local companies meeting with the Marines, talking about the procedure for hooking up their wave energy converters. That's the way we can go, Mr. Speaker. And that would say something if this body instead said, we're not going to accept the status quo. We're going to listen to the young people in our state that want a green energy future. And we're going to set forth a policy for the Public Utilities Commission that says, let's get there. And we're going to get all the other arms of government working ahead to do that. I'm proudly voting no on this because I don't agree we need to stay mired in fossil fuel. And I wish others would join me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Ward,
Speaker, in opposition,
please proceed.
may I have the words of the representative from Kailua enter into the journal as my own? I have a few footnotes to that.
So ordered.
I would describe the bill as loosey-goosey language which gives an out, an excuse for not realizing who we are and where we're going in the future. It's like, Speaker, if someone said, you know, when I grow up, I might be a fireman. How much commitment does that really say about what you really want to be when you grow up? If we really want to get rid of that $5 billion import of fossil fuel, we can't have language in the beginning of this bill that says, you know, unless there's a technological breakthrough, that we have got to have 60% still in fossil fuel. That really turns the odds on its head. And I think everyone genuinely in their heart want to get off of fossil fuels, but when we do bills like this, it makes us look like we're really not sincere, and it looks like, well, there's more political rhetoric. Because I know someone may stand up and say, but look, in the last part of the new language, it says that nothing in this section shall subvert the obligation of electrical utilities to meet the renewable portfolio standards set forth in section 26992. If that is true, Mr. Speaker, why do we even need this bill? Why are we giving an out or a possibility if there's no technological lightning from heaven that changes this formula, that we're going to need this? As leaders, we're supposed to mean what we say and say what we mean, and this bill makes us look like we don't know what either we mean or what we say that we mean. We're going to keep our word. So for those reasons, I join my colleague in voting no.
Thank you very much.